Dr. Sarah Shields here at the Dean Lee Research and Extension Center. Today we're going to talk a little bit about Arbor Day. Arbor Day is a nationally celebrated observance that promotes tree health and care. Here in Louisiana, Arbor Day is designated as the third Friday of every January, so that makes January 15th, 2021 is our Louisiana Arbor Day. One of the reasons that January is an ideal time for establishing trees in the landscape is that the trees are dormant. Another reason is that we generally receive adequate rainfall during that time, so you don't need to supplement a lot of water. We'll talk more about that during the summer months. And also, the weather is cooler, so it generally helps to eliminate the stresses that the trees might experience if we were trying to get them established during another part of the year. Today we'll be planting two new southern live oaks, or Quercus virginiana. And you can see the two that are behind me in the shot. These oaks are located at the Dean Lee Research and Extension Center, right across from the campus of LSU Alexandria. These oaks are somewhere in the range of 250 to 300 years old, and have become quite iconic for the area, being featured in numerous websites and print publications for both the LSU AgCenter and for LSU Alexandria. You'll see that the trees have sustained some damage over the years, and so today we will go in and plant two new live oaks that will help to continue the legacy of what these trees have brought to the area.
Hi, I'm Dr. Michael Palazzolo with the LSU AgCenter, and I want to go in a little bit more detail about the replacement trees we're planting at the Dean Lee Research and Extension Center. So these trees are sourced from Forest Hill, and in a nursery they're grown in a very organic substrate. So this is decomposed pine bark, and that's much different than the soil we're putting them in. The soil we're putting them in is mineral based as opposed to this being organic based. And there's a lot of different philosophies about how to plant trees and how to dig your holes. For holes for a large tree like this, I prefer to have it just a tad bit larger than the pot I'm putting in. We didn't do an exact measurement on these because these trees were so large we had to use an excavator. But we also weren't concerned on having it perfectly round on each side to fit a certain dimension. What I'm really most concerned about is getting this tree's roots used to growing in this native habitat that we hope it will be growing in for the next 300 to 500 years. Now, the best way to do that is to get it used to this native mineral soil as quickly as possible. So I don't want to add too much organic matter back in here. In fact, we're going to plant this right here and only fill back in with the native soil material from the area. We're also not going to fertilize when we plant a large tree like this. The new tender roots on the side here can be very sensitive to fertilizer burn, so we're going to not put fertilizer until the spring. Now, it is important for these large clumps of soil, what we do fill back in, you are going to want to break it down to a more finer texture. It's also critically important that any tree you plant that you turn around and water it in, because what happens by us destroying a little bit of the soil texture like this, we're actually aerating the soil. You wouldn't think that, but it leaves behind large air pockets that we're going to want to turn around and compress just a tad bit with water. We don't want to eliminate the air pockets completely, so you're not going to want to compact it around. We're just going to want to reduce the soil texture like this, fill it around, and then water it in, and then as it settles, add more to it.
While planting new trees is not particularly complicated, there are a few steps we can take to help to enhance the tree's ability to properly establish and grow. As you can see, Michael and Keith have prepared the planting hole and they've dropped that root ball in. What you've noticed, the tree crown is sitting slightly above ground level. Now, Michael mentioned earlier that you do not want to add amendments at this point. You want to plant back with the native soil. You'll notice Keith is taking the shovel to break up those larger clumps of the native soil so those can be dropped back into the planting hole. And he'll work that soil and tamp that back down as we go entirely around. And so make sure to get all the way around that planting hole will be filled back in with the native soil. Michael has some of the grass that was throughout this pile of the native soil, you want to make sure not to add that back in, so that'll be put off to the side. We don't want to return that back into the planting hole at this time. We just want to add the native soil.
So now that we've got our tree planted, our last steps are to water it in properly. And also, we don't have it here with us today, to add some mulch to it on top of it. Mulch is great for increasing your water retention and reducing the amount of times that you have to water. Now, another thing we've done to reduce the amount of times we have to water is with our leftover field dirt, we built this levee or berm around that should help collect natural rainfall. We're also very lucky that when we've planted these trees, we have a rainfall event hopefully this afternoon, which will help settle with compaction as well.
Hi, my name is Keith Hawkins, and I'm an area horticulture agent with the LSU AgCenter in central Louisiana. So let me wish you a happy Arbor Day on January 15th, 2021. Let me point out this free downloadable publication called Native Tree Growing Guide for Louisiana, and it covers the selection and care of your trees. It's about 16 pages long, and it has some information on certain tree species. It talks about large trees that you may want for shade, or smaller trees for certain ornamental purposes. So look this up and download it, and this will help you with your tree planting here in 2021.
We're getting ready to plant our second tree to maintain this iconic look here at the station. I want to thank you for sharing your Arbor Day with us, and I hope this has been an informative video that helps you plant some trees this Arbor Day as well. If you have any questions about planting, tree selection, or anything else agriculture-based, please feel free to contact the LSU AgCenter and we can help you find the answer you're looking for. Have a great day.